Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're analyzing Zendaya, and I'm going to show you the mapping process. If this is super boring, I'll put a timestamp so you can skip ahead. This is a more analytical video. Let's get right into it. So as far as my research shows, she is a mix between white and black. So we will actually select white Caucasian and black African. And this will actually standardize the ideal measurements for a mixed race individual. It'll blend the two together, which is more representative of her race. We already have her front profile there. We have a side, but I found a more properly cropped image. There we are. And we're going to get to mapping. Again, you can skip ahead if you think this is super boring, which I'd understand. First, we're going to map her hairline, which is right there. We're going to map her pupil. Again, we have an AI thing that's kind of, as you guys can see, it's mapping the point pretty close, but then we're going to adjust it very slightly, just to make sure. To be fair, we can actually, no, we definitely want it to be in the middle though, because her eyes are somewhat closed. The left nose, the right side of the nose. And you can see the AI we've implemented is actually quite accurate with the automatic mapping. It's really going to get better as well. And yeah, it definitely makes mapping a lot more user-friendly, I would say. Like, look at that. That's pretty good. And then we can manually adjust it to be perfect, which is great. She has a lot of makeup on, eye makeup, so it's a little hard to see this one. And yeah, maybe this is super fucking boring. I don't know. I actually don't mind mapping. I find it fun a little bit. Top of the brow. And yeah, I mean, if you want to do this with your own face, you can find the link down below with the discount. It's the software me and my team have built. It's definitely the only software like this out there that I've ever seen. With this level of facial analysis, I've never seen it like this before. Again, we kind of have to estimate when there's this much eye makeup. That seems pretty fair. It will still yield quite a fair analysis. And I mean, I'm adjusting every single one of these points, but I mean, many of them have actually not needed adjustment realistically. But I like to be a perfectionist with analysis, of course. And we're going to be finished with the front quite soon, actually. These are mapped perfectly normally. Do we disregard this? This is actually the commissure. That was placed essentially perfectly. It's like I can adjust it, but it wasn't need to. Then we also draw a line here at the mouth line, which is actually adjustable, and this will help us place the Gonian point. See? Which was kind of a feature I came up with, because the Gonians, we want to measure that at the mouth line. So we create that dotted line once we place the mouth line for the accurate Gonian placement. That makes things way easier. This is going to form the jaw frontal angle here. Boom. And then we can actually adjust things. We can see this might be a little bit inaccurate there, so we can kind of play around with this a little bit to kind of get the jaw angle accurate. Again, that is quite accurate. Yes, that's quite accurate. It could be, there we are. That'll give a quite accurate angle. Again, we can kind of adjust things a little bit. That will be sufficient. Left neck point. There we are. Right neck point. There we are. These are normally mapped quite well. She definitely has high set cheekbones. And that's that. Now we can review the points, so we can kind of perhaps, see if anything needs adjustment. But it looks good to me. That was a really good mapping, I would say. Now we go on to the side. We're going to place the top of the head, the back of the head. And on the side, once we place a point, it will zoom in to help us map it more accurately if we need. Neck point's going to be around there. And we will continue to revise this system, of course. The orbital bone is going to be right there. And the tragus. And definitely, I can definitely see, if it's your first time mapping a face, it may be a little more difficult. Totally understandable. But we try to make it as user-friendly as possible. Glabella. I think this is going to be a very, very accurate analysis. We have very nice photos. We have very accurate point mapping. And I know how to map the points pretty well as well, of course. So, there's that. That's going to help. I'm really interested to see what her score will be as well. I'm assuming it's going to be in the 60% harmony range. I have been doing this a pretty long time. Of course, we do have kind of a new formula for the system. So, I mean, yeah, it will take, to be honest with you guys, if you do want to use the software for yourself, it'll probably take you maybe 10 minutes to map your first face, but then it's done. Then you have your analysis after 10 minutes. And I will say, it will take 10 minutes, but this is no UMax. This is no like shitty application and shitty analysis. This is going to be the most accurate analysis on the market by far. And I can assure you of that. Gonian. There's the gonial angle. And that's the mapping done, and don't think we need to adjust anything there. And complete. And that's that, guys. And wow, guys, Zendaya scored 89% side harmony. Now remember, is her side a 9 out of 10 in perception? No, this is just the proportions of what we mapped here. It's just these proportions being measured. Now, I can see why. Her proportions are actually quite good. I see the jaw looks good, segmental looks good, the convexity, the flatness of the face looks good. Is her score a 9 out of 10? No, and we will be adding the full scoring to FaceIQ Labs, hopefully within about a month. There's a lot of hurdles there. Mapping harmony is very objective and consistent, but we're still working on those features. Her 6 did get a 6 out of 10. So overall, her facial harmony is not that I'm better looking proportionally, but it's even below mine, my facial harmony. 70% facial harmony is above average. It's not, this is just an estimation. This is not based on data yet. I would estimate this as top 10% facial harmony. Out of 10 people, this would be the best facial proportions. I don't know if this made the cut, but I predicted in the beginning that she'd have a short total face shape, and I was right. Right when I saw her face, I was like, yep, that's a short face shape. So yeah, her face is 1.17 times taller than wide, which is extremely short. Okay, we want the face to be taller. And the face is likely a little too wide as well. And we can see on the bell curve how far this is. This is the biggest flaw in her frontal profile. We want this at 1.31 times taller than wide, which is significantly far away from her measure. And in the normalized score, she got a 1.6 out of 10 in this measurement. So that's a huge deduction. That's her biggest flaw on the face, arguably. Yeah, that's the biggest flaw on her face, is the short face shape for sure. Here, another flaw, we're looking at the deviation between this midface angle and the jaw. And her jaw is a little more obtuse than her midface, so they don't harmonize perfectly. On high-level faces, you'll see dropping this angle down would be the same as the jaw. So that's a little bit of a deviation there. Even for her ethnicity, again, black women tend to have wider noses, attractive black women. It's not a flaw in black women to have a wider nose. We are considering that. Even considering that, her mouth to nose width is still off. And this depicts that her nose is still a bit broad from what I'm seeing. And we have other assessments to look at that. So this is a moderate flaw. Her eyes are actually a bit close set. And again, this is actually more depicting that her face is too wide. So here we're looking at the distance between her pupils relative to the facial width. And hers is 44%. Ideally, we want this at 46% at the low end. And again, this is balanced between black and white women. It's in the middle for her because she's mixed. That's what these ideal ranges are based on. So this may indicate close set eyes, which yes, they do look a little close set. It's a moderate flaw. Her lower third is a bit tall out of the facial thirds. And again, this is due to her forehead being short, is what I'm seeing. Her forehead is quite short, her hairline is low, and this is also making the face shape short. So really we'd want the hairline more up here, and that would really harmonize her face more. It's kind of similar to Zayn Malik, who has a very short forehead. We can see this is another moderate flaw in the yellow. See, and as we're going down, the features are going to get better. Yeah, facial width height ratio. Her face is a bit too wide as well, I'd argue. As we can see, it's 2.13 here, and this is again indicating an overly wide and short face. Her jaw angle is a little obtuse. Not a big deal. See anything else? She has a pretty properly wide jaw in relation to her facial width. It's actually slightly on the low end. Her jaw could actually be a little bit wider, but that's not a big deal. She has, for her ethnicity, a perfect mid-face ratio. She has very high set cheekbones. I definitely noticed that in the mapping process as well. Good lower to upper lip proportion that's balanced. Her eyes are roughly one eye apart. She has technically an ideal chin to philtrum ratio because black women typically have a thicker upper lip, which makes this is the philtrum, and actually makes the philtrum shorter. So her chin to philtrum is actually still balanced for her ethnicity. Now, if she was a full white woman, this would actually not be ideal for a white woman. Things like that will vary. Her canthal tilt, this is the upturn of the eyes, is we can see perfectly ideal. We want positively tilted eyes, very positive in women especially. I, for example, actually have negative, which is a pretty big flaw. It's the biggest flaw in my face. So she has that well. Again, the mid-face angle is good. Her eye shape is perfectly rounded. Not too compact, not too round. In women, we want rounder eyes than men. And she's at that perfect balance of 2.8 times wider than tall. She has very positively tilted eyebrows, which is neotenous and feminine. Perfect. Anything else? Her ears are properly protruded and angled. Her neck is more dainty at 80% the width of her jaw, which this is what you want to see in women as well. So yeah, I mean, her front profile is generally still not bad. We just saw the bigger issues are her jaw is a little bit flat. Her face is, the general trend is her face is too short and squished. And her eyes could be wider set and her nose could be less wide. So if we were to think of how we could improve her, it would actually be a rhinoplasty to, not saying she should, this is just theoretical. This is kind of the utility of the app here. Her nose could be less wide. We could definitely cut, this is something, not cut sounds insane. We could trim the eyebrows to actually be a bit less close set, and that would make her eyes appear wider set. And arguably she could even shave some of this hair here to make the forehead look taller. And that would actually make her look better, those things, especially the rhinoplasty for the nose. But it's still a fairly harmonious face, like for sure, despite these flaws. But yep, just a short and compact face. Now from the side, her main flaws are really the lip assessment. So this is comparing the pogonion, which is the chin, to the nose and to the lips. And it seems her chin is a bit retruded, is generally what we're seeing. The chin should actually be a bit more here-ish. And we also see actually her lower jaw is a bit recessed as a whole. Let's see what other... Yeah, so here we're drawing a line from the nose tip to the chin, and there could be more distance between the upper and lower lip here. All this is depicting is her lower jaw is a bit downgrown. It could kind of come like this, the lower jaw a little bit. Not a big deal though. She still has pretty good facial convexity. Again, this is actually a little flawed. And this is actually more on the overly flat end, which that's why there's a lot of nuance, which we're going to be coding into this. If we were to move her lower jaw forward, it would actually make her profile even more flat. This is due to essentially her nasion and brow ridge being pretty projected, is why that is a little too flat. The proportion of her chin, nasion, and nasal tip is pretty good. She has a very feminine brow ridge. It's not very slanted back like a Neanderthal. It's more masculine. It's more, less steep. Good nasal tip angle. Good ramus to mandible. That's very important. I'm assuming her gonale angle is good too. Yeah, perfect. Good jaw proportions. Good segmental area. the gonians below the mouth line, no recession. This is very important. We're looking at the tragus to the subnasal, and then the mentolabial fold to the nasion, and this angle here is the facial depth to height ratio, and this is measuring how projected the face is. This is super important, and for her ethnicity, it's very, very good. That's depicting good craniofacial development. Has good nasal assessments, good facial roundness. And real quick, if we go to the overview, we can see the app actually picked up. She has an overly compact face, close set eyes, and not the best jaw and midface alignment. Overall, I would score her on my scale around, for ethnicity, around a 6.5 out of 10, a top 5% face roughly, objectively, with makeup, of course, factored in. And that would be my final assessment. Yeah, guys, if you want to put your own face in this software and get this breakdown, you can click the link down below. It's my website that I've built with my team, and it will tell you how attractive you are, how harmonious your face is, and very soon it will tell you how to improve it. So yeah, I'll put a discount code down there if you'd like, and peace, guys. Thank you for watching.